the fate.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me when you'll ferment this.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and as always, I'm joined by my partner in film, Devin. And today we're going to be sharing our thoughts and opinions on the latest film from Blumhouse Studios, and that is Speak No Evil. But before we begin today's episode, you can listen to our podcast on podcast platforms around the internet. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. And if you are a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. Or you can email us at filmoptix@gmail.com for any movie-related questions. You can also send us a text message. If you go underneath the episode notes of this episode or any of our episodes, you'll see a little link that says send us a text message. It is literally the first link in the episode notes. You can't miss it. It will say either send us a message or send us a text message. But Devin, do you have like $700 to spare so I can pick up this PlayStation 5 Pro?
I mean, you can just keep saving a little bit more and just get yourself a nice gaming PC. That's the way I see it.
But I gotta have the latest and greatest of all things PlayStation, Devin. You know, PlayStation is the Apple of gaming. Don't you know that?
Yeah, it's all about the brand. I mean, it kind of is like the PS5 Pro is kind of like the supreme, like the supreme brand of consoles. It's just like no one really needs this.
No, and they've done it before with the PlayStation 4 Pro. I think more people found that justifiable because
it wasn't a ridiculous price.
Well, that, and it actually introduced like quote unquote 4K gaming to consoles. So it was more of a reason to upgrade from like a PlayStation 4, either if you had like the base PS4 to the Pro, or you can get like the Slim altogether. But yeah, I don't know. Seems like PlayStation is on their high horse yet again, and I'm like, wow. I mean, it looks cool.
Can't even stand on its own. The stand's sold separately.
So I know a lot of people who have PlayStation 5s who actually don't use their stands, like the OG model, like I have. It works all the same. I guess either people just don't know about it, but at least my friends didn't know too much about it. But yeah, that's actually pretty funny. It's crazy. Like I see what they're trying to do, because it's like, you know, the original PlayStation 5 had a built-in disc drive if you went with the one with the disc model, and it had a stand with it as well. So it's like everything's being sold separately, which in retrospect, yeah, you know, pay for what you need. But at the same time, if your console or your premium console is $700,
the Pro version that doesn't have the basic features that the original had doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, it has more storage, which is nice, but it's kind of weird because, yeah, like obviously it's going to be for like the major enthusiasts, like the person who eats, sleeps, and breathes PlayStation. They don't have any other console. But that's such a niche market. Like, why create something like that? And it's like, if you don't need it, then like, who is it for outside of the niche market? But people are still going to buy it. I don't think it'll like ever sell out though. But there's some scary prices, much like this movie that we went to go see, Speak No Evil. But before we get into our review, Devin, what's going on? Happy Taco Tuesday. How was your weekend?
It was a pretty solid weekend. Football is back.
Yes, sir. We got that Steelers win.
Yeah, I was going to say I was actually in Pittsburgh for the weekend at our friend Justin's, watching all the games, and got that Steelers victory. It was very, very needed.
Yeah, and we got Justin Fields starting against the Broncos this week. So
I mean, until he loses, might as well keep him out there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Russell Wilson, who?
Let's weld.
Yeah. I mean, Russell Wilson's a good QB. It's just like, I mean, I feel like Fields was the better option to start anyway, but because he is younger and he has a lot more years, and it's like, let's, you know, get him out there while we can. for him to get as much experience as he can instead of having him as a backup QB. So I'm very excited, man. We're facing the Broncos. I don't know if it's home or away, but it'll be a good game for sure. But what have you been watching and playing? Did you finish the Industry show?
I'm still watching Industry. I have not started season 3 yet.
I'm still in the same place I was, only because I've been busy with a lot of stuff, but hopefully soon.
And then I'm also working my way through God of War.
Oh, how are you liking it on PC so far?
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good one, man. It's better with that Xbox controller. So much better.
Yeah, I actually did notice that because it didn't really use any of the PS5 controller like features. Wasn't noticing any difference like some of the other games have.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with the haptic feedbacks, it's far and few in between. Honestly, no game has really used the PlayStation, like the DualSense controller.
I think Ghost of Tsushima used it well.
Yeah, but I would say more so Astro's Playroom and the new Astrobot game. Like that, like it really gives you a feel of what the controller can actually do. But yeah, very seldom have you found like studios that will actually use it to its full capability, which is kind of why I hate the touchpad, because it's like no one really used it during the PlayStation 4. Why are we keeping it around for the PlayStation 5? But it is what it is. But I'm glad that you are enjoying God of War all the same. It's spooky season, so yeah, I've just been trying to watch as much heart-pounding thriller scary movies as I can.
Yeah, we had a great way to kick things off here. Speaking of evil, it's early September. It's not usually the time for the horror movies to start.
It's pumpkin spice season.
It's a good start. It's a good start.
I feel like it's all synonymous. Really, we started with Beetlejuice, at least here on the show.
That's true.
Yeah, but this is, man, I thoroughly enjoyed this one for sure. But yeah, outside of I've been watching Lord of the Rings. I actually have to watch last week's episode, so I might just wait for this week's episode to come out and watch them back to back. There's just been so much going on around here that I'm hoping it gets to die down so I can kind of, because I want to start with the Industry, or I finished the first 2 episodes. I just got to keep watching. It's just been, things have been popping up that, I haven't really been able to sit down. Of course, football season, I've been watching a few of those games as well. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm very excited. It's spooky season. Yeah, I'm just trying to get into the mood. We got a little bit of news. The season 1 of Yellow Jackets is coming to Netflix, I think October 8th, I believe. I could be wrong. But I was telling my friend about that yesterday at our screener for Speak No Evil, and he's like, finally I'll be able to watch it. Because I'm like, do you just sign up for Showtime and it's there? Or do you have to sign up for Paramount Plus?
Yeah, Showtime's a rough place to be for signing up for something. I don't know. I've never done it.
Like, is it synonymous with Paramount Plus?
I think you can get a package with Paramount Plus that has it.
But you can't get Showtime on its own.
You might be able to. I don't know.
That's so much. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm just happy it's coming to Netflix. At least season 1. I was hoping they would put both seasons on there because it just makes more sense. And again, that's why people subscribe to Netflix, so they can watch these other shows. It doesn't necessarily have to be their Netflix originals that keeps people there, because that's not what kept people there to begin with. It was like The Office and things like that. But I digress. We're going to be getting into our spoiler-free review of Speak No Evil. I apologize. My voice is a bit raspy today. Not entirely sure why. It kind of just is all together. But we will be right back with our introduction to Speak No Evil.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
What happened?
Honey, I don't know the tap.
You all right?
Hey, Patty, can you come take a look at this?
Yeah, sure.
God, there's a doctor in the house.
I'm not a doctor.
What?
Wait, but didn't you say you were a doctor?
Did I?
In Italy, you...
No. Sometimes when I meet new people, I'll get a little bit self-conscious, you know?
I just wanted to make a good impression.
Yeah.
What do you do then?
Well, I don't do anything.
Like anything?
No, I don't work. I don't believe in it. Let's get that fixed. Where's the plasters? Look at their faces.
We should have taken a picture.
Of course I'm a bloody doctor. We totally had that. We totally had you, right? How else could we afford all this? Come here.
And we are back with our Speak No Evil review. Again, this is spoiler free for all of our listeners out there. So you can just go into the movie and expect the events to unfold the way that they do. Because even though I literally have seen this trailer in every single movie that I've been to this year, they've marketed the crap out of this in theaters. And you know what? I still enjoyed it. Like it was the same kind of things over and over. So they didn't really show a lot, which is pretty awesome. And this film is directed by James Watkins, and writers include Christian Taftrup. He was the original director of Speak No Evil in 2022, alongside James Watkins himself and Mads Taftrup. I'm assuming that Christian and Mads are brothers, and stars James McAvoy, Mackenzie Davis, and Scoot McNairy. That's a cool last name, or first name, Scoot.
Yeah, he's been like a actor I've just seen in a lot of random things throughout the years, I feel like.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. I've definitely seen him around, and of
Very
course,
familiar face.
yeah, and this is a very small cast, so you do have others like the kids, Dan Hugh and Alex West Leffler, as well as Chris Hetchen and Motaz Malhis and Alising Choisky as Sierra. So that is literally just like a total of like what, 8-9 people all together for this film, which I adore small casts and how you're able to make such a big impact with such a limited, I guess not limited budget, but limited locations almost. So I think that's pretty awesome. And the story is as follows. A family is invited to spend a weekend in a idyllic country house, unaware that their dream vacation will soon become a psychological nightmare. Dun, dun, dun. And yeah, if you've seen this trailer, you kind of know what goes down. It gives you the basis of the movie, but man, I'm so excited to talk about this one, but I'm going to pass it over to Devin so we can give his initial reactions to Speak No Evil, because we both saw this last night. So it's fresh in our minds.
Yeah. So going into this one, I know there's been a lot of discourse around this movie, like leading up to the release. Like you mentioned, a lot of people have been complaining about how many times the trailer's been shown. It has been a lot, like pretty much before every movie this trailer has been shown. So I've definitely been seeing it a lot. But also there's a bit of controversy because it is a remake of a 2022 film, like you mentioned. And people are just kind of iffy about that because that is pretty quick to remake something. And I've not seen the original one. I've seen it. It's on Shudder, so I've seen it when I was scrolling Shudder in the past, but I have not watched it. I'm going to have to go back and watch it now. But and it's a Danish film originally, so... They remade this one. Seems like a similar setup, but I think they definitely made a few changes for this one. And I think obviously the biggest selling point for this, and the reason you should go see this, is because of James McAvoy. He is the reason to see this movie, I would say, because he is just so good at this. He's just a weirdo. It's like he's just a freaky guy, and it just works so well in this movie. He's got the same similar physique that he had for Split, it seems like.
Yeah.
I was wondering if he had bulked back up for this movie, or if he just kind of kept that same like bulkiness from Split over the years.
I don't know. That is a
because he's huge.
He is, yeah. I think he might have bulked up for this. There is no way. I mean, unless his diet is that consistent.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely works because he can definitely pull off some intimidating looks, and just all of his looks and faces he makes in this movie are just insane, and it makes it so much more entertaining. As far as the story goes, I really like the setup of you find everyone has. I feel like everyone has the same experience of going on a vacation, and then you find a family that is also vacationing, and you just kind of become like vacation friends with them.
Yeah,
and you hang out and have fun and do cool stuff. But then this just takes it to the next level of, oh, they're inviting us over to their house a week after the vacation just ended. That's interesting. And then it just kind of takes things to the next level over and over again. And I just like the mystery behind it. I will say you kind of figure it out right away. There's not much of a twist going on here.
Right.
But I think it works here because of, like I said, James McAvoy's performance and just kind of the creep factor. And also, there's a lot of, I was trying to figure out if it was intentional, but there's a lot of the movie that gets played for laughs. Like,
yeah,
in my theater, there was consistent laughter, like, throughout the whole movie. So I wasn't sure, because I know for sure that some of it was definitely made to come off as funny. There's just certain scenes that, yeah, that's so ridiculous and out there that it is funny. But I don't know if they were trying to make some of it more serious or diabolical. That's just something that I guess it's up to the audience to interpret. I'm not sure what the director/writer was looking for in that one. And I was looking at the director, his past work, and he has a similar movie that came out in 2008 called Eden Lake that I would highly recommend if you like this one because it's a very similar setup. And that one stars Michael Fassbender. So that
dude, say less.
Got some great star power as well.
Heck yeah.
So it's also a couple going on a romantic getaway, and then they run into some rowdy teenagers, and a lot of brutal things unfold in that movie. So I definitely recommend that if anyone is interested. But yeah, I think this movie was a great time at the theaters. Bigger the audience, the more fun it's going to be. Because that's just how it was when I was watching it. A lot of laughing, a lot of yelling at the characters, which is always fun for the choices that they're making. Sometimes it was warranted, the yelling. Sometimes they were just being a little too critical, I think.
Yeah.
Just depending on what situation was, but it was a great time. It was a fun time at the movies.
Dude, I am so glad that you liked this because I really did enjoy this movie. Like you said, James McAvoy obviously is like one of the big front runners, but I got to give my props to the rest of this crew, especially Mackenzie Davis. If you don't know her, she's been around. I think our first introduction, or at least mine, was during the Christmas movie that she did with Kristen Stewart.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She was also in Terminator Dark Fate, unfortunately. That's what I remember her from.
She was also in Blade Runner 2049 as well. But the Christmas movie is called Happiest Season. Yeah, Happiest Season is a Christmas movie that she's in. I think that was my first real introduction to her, at least from what I can, from recollection from memory. But she's also in Black Mirror as well. So she's been around for a while, for sure. And she was also in Love, Death, and Robots, that TV series. But yeah, between Mackenzie Davis and Elise, who plays Sierra, James McAvoy's wife in this film, his name is Patty. And of course, Scoot McNairy, playing Ben, and then their daughter Agnes, who's played by Alex West Loeffler, and of course Ant, played by Dan Hugh. I really think it was just magic. Like the chemistry was like insane. Like obviously, like you said, James McAvoy is a standout here, but everyone else plays so well off of each other. It's not just everyone interacting with James. It's, the complicated paths between Mackenzie Davis's character, Luis, and Ben Dalton, played by Scoot. Like their complicated past kind of creeps up in this movie, as well as, the relationship with Ben and his daughter, Agnes, and how that family dynamic works with this other family. And it's like oil and water almost. how they raise their kids, how they treat each other, how they discipline, to go as far as to say how they discipline each other's children. And, you know, obviously there's something going on here, and you see that if you've seen the trailer. You know, James McAvoy, this family has kind of snapped, you know, inviting this new family with Ben, Luis, and Agnes. And almost in a way, it feels like this is like the new Strangers, almost like it's its own version of The Strangers, or maybe what The Strangers remake should have been, or at least
I'll never know.
You'll never know. Well, maybe you will, because literally The Strangers remake was like beat for beat for the first one. But to speak on, I did not know that outside of me looking into this, because I looked up the wrong Speak No Evil movie, and I didn't realize that the original Dutch film came out 2 years ago. That I did not know. I didn't really know there was that much of a discourse behind it, to be completely honest. But I love where this movie took everything, and it kind of makes me want to go back and watch the original to see how different it is.
I think I will be watching the original as well. Nice spooky season edition.
Yeah, and there's this weird dynamic in the film between Patty and Ben, where it's like this alpha male, beta male situation, because, you know, obviously they are both male, but they are so far on different spectrums. And I believe James McAvoy actually said that his character, I guess he took inspiration from Andrew Tate.
Yeah, definitely makes sense based on the actions that he had in that movie.
Yeah, and like that literally just was just in my mind the entire time. And I was like, yeah, this is definitely an Andrew Tate-esque movie.
He still got some charm in there, though. That's the thing. I don't think Andrew Tate has any charm, but McAvoy always does.
Yeah, I think it's just like the alpha male, you know, him trying to control the entire situation of this family coming to his house. And, you know, you're unraveling what is happening here. And I think they do a good job of it, because I was like, how are they going to explain everything? You know, like, when is the ball going to drop? And it did in such an interesting way, to where you could have to where you could say that this family might have been able to get out on their own if it was a logical situation, like a real life situation. But James McAvoy definitely plays on the feelings of this family, and you are just able to sit in and just watch it all unravel. And like you said, Devin, it is like, there are funny moments in this movie. Like, my entire theater, it was an early screening just like yours. But they also it was like an early fan screening, so they invited critics as well. But people were just eating this up. And like you said, like, you know, there's a lot of warranted, like, you know, are you kidding me kind of thing. And, you know, everyone's like screaming, like, no, don't go in there.
Just
don't
the
go
classic
in there.
horror movie experience.
Yeah, but it was like, I miss that, because we don't get that a lot.
Yeah, especially a packed theater. Like, that's always the best.
And not even just that, like, because you can have a packed theater where no one's engaged, but like an engaging audience that's sitting there and like screaming, you know, at these characters. Like,
There were so many times where someone in front would just yell, "Get in the car right now!"
Yeah.
Get in that car.
And like, that's the logical thing to do. But this is a movie, so it's like, you gotta, like, I mean, logically, there's so many movies that would have ended shorter if, you know, they didn't go a certain way. But like, it's a movie, you got to keep it interesting, you got to keep it engaging for the audience. And people were laughing so hard at Scoot McNairy's character, Ben Dalton.
Yeah, he was he did not do a lot as far as
he did not
protecting his family.
It was hilarious, and I enjoyed it so much, man. Like, I don't know, there's something about it, like the way that it looked, you know, the cinematography.
Yeah, I like the locations a lot, especially when they opened up in Italy. I was like, yeah, this is nice.
Definitely gave me the season 2 of White Lotus vibes there a little bit. I wonder if they were there during the incident. I don't know. But hopefully. Yeah, it was, you know, the estranged relationship between Sierra and Patty. and how these two families merge. And of course, if you've seen the trailer, you know that Ant, played by Dan Hugh, has his tongue cut out. Like, it's in the trailer altogether. So I don't think that's a big spoiler, but you know, it's in the trailer, so I'm not going to count it as a spoiler altogether. But
yeah,
I
but
do
it's like all the stuff they showed in the trailer, they built off of more in the movie, so it's not like they're spoiling like every like a huge moment, because like you said, it shows that his tongue is cut off, but then there's lines in the movie that just add to that after that reveal.
And I think that's what this movie does so well. Like, you know, we've seen this trailer a million times, but like you said, it does build off, and it's like, it goes, like, you think that you've seen everything in this movie from the trailer. You haven't. You haven't at all. And that's what I love. They were able to, okay, you know, we're only going to show specific scenes. And I think they had 2 trailers come out. And yeah, so like I said earlier, I had no clue. I guess we'll get into trivia here. I got a few trivia facts here for everyone here for Speak No Evil trivia or Speak No trivia. So the first one is, of course, without my knowing, I did not know this is a remake of the 2022 Danish film of the same name. Like Devin said, it's on, you said Shudder? Or no, you said, oh, it is on Shudder, as well as the other film that this director made. James Walken, you said
Eden Lake.
Eden Lake.
Looks like that one's on Freevee, actually. So even easier. Just pop it on for free.
Yeah, just put it on for free. That's the best kind. It's the best kind there is. And also the use of music in this movie is like perfect. A lot of 80s vibes.
Yeah, James McAvoy just eating it up.
But, you know, like we're talking about, this movie was filmed on set. For another trivia fact here, filmed mainly in Gloucester, UK, and 1 week of filming in Croatia. And also, with only 5 days of filming left in production, hold on one second. With only 5 days of left of filming, production shut down in July 2023 due to the writer and actor strike, and then it resumed filming
that's
November.
got to be pretty painful. 5 days left, and they had to shut it down for, looks like, 4 months.
Just like Beetlejuice, that was like a day and a half. They had like a day and a half left, and you know the strikes came. But filming resumed for the Speak No Evil remake in November 2023. So that's always, you know, at least they were able to finish that. But yeah, that's pretty freaking. That's pretty freaking tough. And also, director James Watkins is, like, you mentioned this earlier. He's known for the horror genre, for writing and directing such movies as Eden Lake, that came out in 2008, and The Woman in Black in 2012. Did you see that one?
I don't know about Woman in Black. I don't know if I'd recommend that one. But Eden Lake, definitely. Woman in Black is the Daniel Radcliffe one.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. Yeah, it's... I was like...
That got a sequel somehow.
It did, and everyone was. I think this is like Daniel Radcliffe's like one of his first.
Yeah, it was like one of his first for sure. It was 2012. So.
Yeah, right after Harry Potter ended, and yeah, I still gotta watch it. Like I never really watched it all the way through. I think
I just remember it being a lot of jump scares.
Gotcha. I'll definitely start with Eden Lake first. You know, go in chronological order.
Yeah, that one's pretty intense.
Oh God, I'm so excited. And also Mackenzie Davis and Scoot McNairy previously worked together in a series on the series Halt and Catch Fire. It's called Halt and Catch Fire. I'm not sure.
Yeah, for good things. It's an AMC one.
Oh, is it? Okay. So yeah, that's cool that they were able to work together again. Their relationship in this movie felt very authentic, honestly. I think Mackenzie Davis is extremely underrated. But definitely check out Happy Seasons if you have not seen that. And apparently this is Mackenzie Davis's second horror remake. She was previously in The Turning, which came out in 2020.
I think I remember that, possibly.
That was with Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah, that's sitting at a 3.9 on IMDb. So I've not seen that one.
I vaguely remember this. It's through DreamWorks.
I do remember it coming out, but I definitely never watched it.
Yeah, she has blonde hair in the movie, so it's like you'll be able to spot her pretty easily. But God, yeah, I remember this movie. This was like, yeah, man. I don't remember seeing it, but I do remember I remember the trailer, and I was like, oh yeah, Finn Wolfhard's finally in something that isn't Stranger Things. So that's pretty much all the trivia I have here for today. I just wanted to share those here with our lovely listeners out there. But let's get into our final thoughts and our ratings. Devin, what are your final thoughts and ratings for Speak No Evil 2024?
Yeah, final thoughts. It's a great ride, great theater experience. Definitely go see this one in a crowd if you're able to. James McAvoy is the reason I think that separates this from the original, I imagine. Like you said, we'll go back and watch that one and see how it compares. But
yeah,
I think having someone like James McAvoy step in is definitely a great selling point to have for this one, because he's just so great in that role. It's very similar to a Split role where he's just kind of crazy, and that's just fun to watch. I do think there are some times where the line bleeds between, like, are they trying to be funny or is it supposed to be like an intense, like, scary moment? I think that gets a little blurry and it's kind of hard to tell because most of it was just taken for laughs, at least in my theater. And I think for sure some of it was supposed to be like that, but I think there are some moments where you're supposed to be a little more intense and taken seriously. So I think that could be an issue with the writing possibly. And there are some threads throughout the movie that don't have much payoff and they don't feel as necessary. But I think overall it was pretty sharply written as far as the dialogue. I really liked some of the stingers that were thrown between some of these characters. They definitely hit. So look out for that. As far as the score goes, I'd probably give it like a 78 overall, somewhere around there. Like I said, there's some issues where the themes and the overall, like, mood of the movie just kind of feels blurry, and I think other than that, it's just a great ride overall.
Yeah, and I'm wondering for the writing, like, I'm wondering if it is a writing thing or if it's like an audience thing, because there were definitely times. It was, oh my gosh, what movie was it? It was a movie that we covered here. I'm blanking on the name of it right now. But I remember I was talking about how most people were, like, laughing during bits that clearly weren't funny. Like, not even like the dialogue wasn't even written off to be that way. And I was like, why are people laughing?
Yeah, that's what I had as experience as well. Because there weren't really many moments that came off as like like, this is intense. Oh my god! Like, most of it was just laughed off.
Yeah, and maybe it was the writing. Maybe they were trying to balance that out. But from the poster and everything, I would think it's more serious. But I don't know. It could literally be anything altogether. But as far as my ratings, you gave it. What did you give it? One more time. I do apologize.
78.
Okay, 78. Okay, yeah. I was gonna give it like a solid 80. There's a few things that obviously we can't really talk about because we're not doing spoilers, but I can say this. There was a few choices that Mackenzie Davis's character did as a mother that didn't necessarily fit with the rest of her character. It was like two small actions. I might be nitpicking, but we'll talk about it off air. But that was really the only thing that was iffy to me. It was like, okay, well, she's doing this, like, but then she goes off and is like doing the complete opposite, like with a different odd choice later on. But, maybe that's just how the movie, that's just how the movie was written altogether. But as I was saying, yeah, 80 out of 100. I think it's a great film. Everyone should go see this. It's a perfect movie to get into spooky season if you haven't already seen Beetlejuice. Definitely recommend that one as well. So it's like, it really does kind of, this entire movie just makes you feel off and uneasy, but that's kind of what I like about it altogether. So it's like, let's just dive straight on in. Like I'm ready for spooky season. I kind of like how spooky season kind of starts in September. It gives you a little bit more time to prep for October. Use September for the movies that, like, the new movies you haven't really seen yet, and then you can kind of like use October like to rewatch like those classics all together. By the way, Devin, I'm actually seeing Scream at the Bicentennial Park here in town on August 18th. It's going to be
Scream in the Park.
Yeah, Scream in the Park. I'm very excited for that, man. I'm very, very excited for that. So I was like, oh, I should watch Scream. And I was like, no. I gotta let my first rewatch be on the big screen outside in the park. I think that's going to be really awesome. But yeah, so a 78 out of 100 from Devin and an 80 out of 100 from myself. So the median score, we're just going to make it super easy, is going to be 79 out of 100 for the official Film Optix podcast score. And with all that said, that does conclude today's episode. If you enjoy what you heard, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your preferred podcast platform of choice, and make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. And of course, don't forget to share an episode of our podcast with a fellow movie lover in need, whether it be your mother, your brother, or your significant other. Spread the love for the Film Optix podcast. And now let's take a sneak peek at our new review releases. As I mentioned earlier, you can listen to our Beetlejuice sequel review, as well as our Umbrella Academy Season 4 review and our Blink Twice review. And of course, since it is spooky season, we can't not help but mention our Alien Romulus review. I'm very, very excited to get my hands on the Blu-ray for that one. And you can also check out my latest Blu-ray review roundup, where I cover Ted Lasso, Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, and The Watchers all in one episode, just giving you guys a little bit of insight on what to pick up to add to your Blu-ray collection. And as far as upcoming releases, Devin, I'm not sure if you realize this, but My Old Ass is out in theaters this weekend.
I saw the poster walking in on the way to see Speak No Evil, and I saw Aubrey Plaza, and I was like, that's an interesting name.
Have you not seen the trailer?
I have not.
Oh, dude, it's a coming of age movie.
Of course, classic.
It's good. I've the trailer. I mean, I still have to see Dee Dee. It's not. I was gonna go see it the other day, and they took it out of our theaters, so I might just have to. I think it's on VOD, so I might just have to buy it and watch it. I actually will buy it. I just won't rent it because all together. But outside of that, there's something we might be able to cover. It just depends. My weekend's kind of busy, but we also have Transformers 1 that we're going to be covering, as well as Wild Robots. So those are going to be a few films that...
Yeah, we're shifting from spooky to animated.
Yeah, spooky to animated basically, they're both animated films. I almost forgot about that. And I believe we might be covering The Penguin. I think that comes out in 2 weeks or about a week and a half. Because that's hitting HBO here soon. So we might have to cover that as well. May not be able to do that on a weekly basis. It just really depends on our availability. But those are a few films that you can look forward to that we're going to be covering here on the podcast. And of course, those aforementioned review releases that I mentioned, you can definitely check those out. So, and with all that said, thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as it helps us with the placement of those respective platforms. And make sure to stay connected with us by following us on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, all that social media garbage for the latest updates. That was Devin, and I'm Christian, signing off. And remember, life is like a movie, so go out there and make it a blockbuster.
Peace.